Okay. First yard of the week. I'm going kind of slow. Start with this little bitty one. Kind of dragging ass today. Stayed up a little bit too late, playing with all you freaks on there. Fighting with the trolls. That is so dumb. Why do I even bother responding? And then I deal with the obvious haters. I start looking at everybody else real questionable. I'm like, what'd you really mean by that comment there, bro? You're like, hey, I didn't mean nothing bad. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, next thing you know, I start fighting with all you guys. All of you. No, my longtime friends, I'll just cuss you out because I've been cussed out 10 times. I'm gonna stop that crap. Alright, time to put on some tunes and get to work. Oh yeah, I don't have my mower yet. It's Monday, so the part's gonna be in. They're gonna have the idler pulley come in probably like 10 a.m. they said, and they'll put it on for me. And so hopefully tonight I'll just go pick it up before I get done. I'm just gonna tough it out again. I'm not worried about it. I did get the Bradley going Saturday evening after all my work was done, and you know what? I'm just selling it. I don't even like it. I'm not going back to a belt drive. And if I've done my tour of duty with belt drives, all right, that's over with. I'll probably bash into someone's siding or sideswipe their car or whatever. It felt goofy to me after all this time. I don't know. All right, like I said, I'm gonna put some tunes on. I think I'm gonna get hyped up here. I'll start with something kind of mellow, work my way into the hard stuff. We'll start with Slayer. Okay, freaks. I just ate a bag of Doritos, my turkey sandwich, and their sweet tea tasted like crap, so I got me a cherry Coke. Before I get into what I'm getting ready to do here, I want to let you know, my buddy in town just got ripped off for his Kawasaki trimmer and 2 steel blowers. He just swung past her because he saw me driving, and he's out looking for the guy. We got the description and a partial plate. It's a black Chevy truck and the license plate number. So we're on the lookout for this fool, and the police are looking for him too. But as you got to network when stuff like that happens. So I'm upset because I've seen this guy before. He's been known to be casing the areas because I've seen a black Chevy truck pull up next to my stuff before. Okay, and I come walking out and it drives away. He wasn't like getting out or anything. He was just going real slow past my stuff, and that was a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's in my town. We're looking for some dude who's out thieving. All right, and anyway, back to this. So I still don't have my mower. Let me flip this around. No big mower. I'm gonna cut this yard. I'm not scared. Or am I? Actually, it's been a while. I'm pretty scared. Hey, could be worse. It could have all my stuff stolen. I'm gonna have to bring everything to the backyard when I get back here because there's some bullshit going down. Now, you just kind of have to go for it. All my yards are doable with a small mower. So, if that's what you guys have, don't be upset about it. You can do it. It's just going to take you longer. Right now, the sun's coming out. It feels pretty good. Man, these cool days like this, they took the gutter off. I don't know why. I took the gutter off. I shouldn't have even done that. I don't have my walk behind. I could have fit my 21 through there. See how I'm not used to things? But it's cool. I'll let you see a little bit of this. I'll film some of it. See a police leaving? See a police over here? That dude came by to steal my stuff. Black Chevy truck. I got a partial plate. I got the partial plate, you freaks. And the police are on the case now. They're looking for him. I mean, he didn't take anything from me, but he just drove past casing me out. Okay, so black Chevy truck, and I don't know, I'm kind of nervous now. I have to keep his camera on 24/7, but hopefully I got enough information to add to what else is going on that it's going to get this fool busted, because he's running around town stealing crap in this neighborhood right now, all around these streets. It's not that big a town. This guy's gonna get caught. Plus, I'm never gonna forget the way his truck looked or his face. I could see him driving like some scroungy Hoosier. That explains a lot, right? Yeah. Some white dude, about old enough to know better, about 40 years old, probably on some crack binge. Yep. Okay, freaks, I got it done. And let's take a look at this backyard. Front yard is easy. Backyard was a little bit big. I mean, it wasn't hard or anything, it just took a little bit of time. There you go. Don't be scared. People have been cutting yards with a small mower for century. I don't know when they invented lawnmowers. They used to have sickles. They used to have their own gardeners and stuff. You know what? That reminds me. We need to talk about the beginning of the lawn care industry in my town, because I seen it. I seen it happen. My father seen it more than I did, but I was with him, and I seen it go from maybe a couple people in town cutting grass to the whole industry that it is. Yeah, we should talk about that. I have to get my dad to come back by. He's a little camera shy, but I ought to start talking and have the camera propped up. He won't even know. He doesn't know what a camera looks like. I mean, he was in World War II. What does he know? He knows everything. But he probably doesn't know what the camera looks like. Yeah. Secretly videoing my dad. This guy's cutting the valvoline with a John Deere, and I don't really think there's any grass except that back fence right back in there. Man, you could have just weed eated that. But what do I got to talk about? I have to push mow this. It won't start. Oh, there we go. Oh, my head's kind of big. That's what I looked like in the 90s. Long hair, long blonde hair. But I wasn't on a John Deere. So there's your finished product. Check this out. You might want this. This could be a good mower for somebody. A 20-inch no name with no motor. Huh? How you like that, huh? No motor. Nothing can go wrong with it. Or you could have a Craftsman. I wonder why they hired me to cut their lawn. Maybe because their wheel's falling off. That one's duct taped. They got vice grips on there. Yep, it's past just a call. Geek to freak. Hey, I should get a 52-inch. My 36 barely fits in here. And look, this makes it even harder. So actually when I do this yard, normally I have to go like this. And it goes right in. I have to go like that. And then to get out, you have to back out. So remember that, don't get yourself jacked up. You go in and then it won't come back out forward. You don't know what to do. You have to follow the exact same pattern. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, good enough. Hasn't been right since they put that driveway in. Front yard looks good. I'm not scared to cut grass. I like the money. I like the peace and serenity of loud mowers blasting. Still going strong with the push mower. Haha. For those of you that think that you don't have enough equipment to start a lawn service, well, all it takes is a small mower, a trimmer, a blower, and a vehicle. You have to have something to get around. And then all you really need is to go into the areas that there are small yards, which will most likely be the older parts of towns. The houses and the lot sizes in these old neighborhoods and towns, they will come in so many shapes and sizes that on one block there won't be any two that are the same. So you never know what you're getting involved in, but that's okay because most of the time they were built before there were riding lawn mowers and they weren't built for that. So they're manageable with a small mower. They're a great place to start out, learn your craft, and start making money to build up to bigger and better things. So get out there and find a few of them and start working. Okay, this is the challenge. All small mower, baby. All small mower. I'm down to the home stretch. That's right. It's all boxed in and ready to go. Now this is a challenge. Stupid challenge, but I can do it. Some of you think I'm a punk ass bitch. Well, let me just put that to rest right now. Okay, freaks, now this one is an exception. It is too big to cut on a regular basis with a small mower and make it profitable time-wise. Now, with that being said, I'm sure this lawn has been cut 1,000 times with a small mower because the owner that hired me did it with a small mower. He didn't have a riding lawnmower and he got too old and I took over and then it kept going and actually I ended up doing his brother's, a neighbor of the brother, and then it just spread around the town like that. So I was in 2 different areas of the town because of 1 yard. And I got this one because I was doing the one with the hedges across the street. And at one time, I had all 4 corners. But back to my original point. I'm going to be out here about 2 hours because I'm using a small mower. And normally that would be about $100 worth of revenue, okay? I can't charge him that. It's not his fault that I have to be out here for 2 hours. Now, if I had a 36 that was running strong,
This thing would take me about 45 minutes. And that's why $50 to him is worth it. It saves him from being out here for 2 hours, but he can't pay $100 per week. $50, yes. So this is on me. I'm out here doing what I have to do to keep it off my schedule. It's going to be a harder day. It can be intimidating when you first pull up. So that's where you have to pace yourself. The first thing you have to do is just be glad that you're there and you're able to get it done and make $50, okay? Keep your eye on the prize. Also, it's going off of your list. If you push this back till next week, said, I'll just skip it today. I'll wait till next week and cut it with the big mower when I get it back. Well, guess what? You lost that $50. So right now, that's your focus. Keep the money coming in. The next tip is, go ahead and start with trimming. Trim the whole thing, take a break. Then set this up to where you're going to mow it in sections. Like go behind his house and do the alley and his little backyard first. Then come around to the front, get by your vehicle, get a drink of water, wipe your face off with a towel, then do his front yard. Then take another break. By doing it like that, you're giving yourself little accomplishments along the way. It doesn't seem so overwhelming when you start to see certain sections are already completed. I don't have to go back out by the alley, and the whole backyard is done. Now the front yard's done. Now the boulevard. Then you have just this big section. I would go ahead and save it for last. It all depends on the sun and the shade. If I was starting early in the day, I would go ahead and do this while there was more shade on it. Right here, though, I'm in the evening, so the shade is actually coming onto it. So it was benefiting me to save it till later in the day. But, you take a look at the skies. You look around. It looks too bright there, but the shade's coming in. Maybe I'll do this section first. Think about these little things, but definitely cut it in section. Give yourself those small wins. This also gives you a chance to stop and get a drink and kind of refresh between each section. And that's good for you. The worst thing you could do is just panic, jump out there, take off down the boulevard, go along by the hedges, end up out in the alley, start cutting a little bit in the back, go around those trees, zip through, make a few passes in this field, go back into the front yard, swoop around in the backyard. You see what I'm saying? You get all crazy style. And before you know it, well, yeah, you're done. But it's been 2 hours, you didn't even take a drink of water. You were also all tensed up, tightened up, you got a big grip on that lawnmower handle. You're practically pushing the mower even though it's self-propelled. You're running with it. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to try and break a record. You're going to try and cut this grass as close to the time that it takes to do it with a bigger mower, but it's not going to happen. And so you're going to start out like gangbusters. You're going to go zipping down there and all around, and then you're going to wear yourself out, but you're going to keep going because you don't want to stop. I got to get this done. Okay, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. That's the maximum I can be out here. But you know what? It's not worth it. You're going to raise your blood pressure. You're going to give yourself a stroke. Look, I've been there. In the 90s, there were times where I was rushing and I had a heat stroke in a yard. My dad had a heat stroke when I was younger and I was with him out doing yards. And I remember that day. And then 15, 20 years later, I had one. Like I didn't have a stroke where I ended up in the hospital. I got to where I just started going like slowing down. Each step was getting slower and slower. And all of a sudden I went down on my knees and laid on the grass, crawled over until I could get to this bush and lay in the shade. I couldn't even get off the yard. Eventually I did make it back to my vehicle, and then I was shot. Like I couldn't even get my equipment back with me. I just left it, and I couldn't even just drive home right then. I was messed up for days because of it. Like this really took a lot out of me. So I know it was a heat stroke, but I was, a big dummy back then. I didn't go to the hospital about anything, heck, health insurance and life, and that's a whole nother story. But my point here is, you can really give yourself a heart attack worrying about something that's out of your control. You're here. Hey, do you want to make the $50, or do you just want to go home tonight and lose the $50? Because once you miss a week, it's over. That week 18 or 19 or whatever it is, it's done. And if you don't have anything else to do tonight and you're not feeling bad, you're not going to have a heat stroke or whatever, why not stay out there and make some extra money? You're going to go home, make nothing, or stay here and make something? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to make some money. You can do what you want to do. Just be safe doing it and take care of your health.
Oh, there you go. I just push mowed the whole thing. I'm still alive. What do you know? I didn't need a zero turn. I didn't even use a walk behind. 21-inch front wheel drive self-propelled mower. It can be done. Anything is possible.
What are you doing? Take a picture?
Alright, freaks. You can obviously tell things are taking me longer with the small mower. It can be done, but it takes longer, and by the end of the day, you're worn out. So, this is the first night without the girls in a long time. I went ahead and did 10 yards, but look how late it is. 10 yards with the small mower. And you've seen some big ones, but you didn't see. I did that apple orchard today. Yeah, the one with the apples and pears all over the place. I got pear juice all over my feet. So, I'm gonna blow this off and I'm going to give in. I'm gonna break out the belt drive tomorrow. I can't take another day of this. This is it. Maxed out. Punking out. I'm gonna get that belt drive out and I'm gonna tear some stuff up. Oh yeah, I'll let you see what happens. The heck is this thing?
Whoa.
I looked at you.
Yeah, I know, he does. Oh. What is that?
It's got a tail?
What's that? Yeah, it's like a tail. And then this part down here
Looks like it's forming a wing.
is smooth. Like right there.
It's going to turn into some kind of flying thing.
So I guess that's his, look, I think those are his two eyes.
Like a,
And maybe his mouth. He looks like a baby armadillo.
I don't know what the heck that thing is.
I know, I've never
From
seen
outer
one.
space.
Yeah.
like a dragonfly. He might turn into a dragonfly.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I don't
Oh,
think
wait,
a
now.
dragonfly.
Was this thing in the ground?
He was laying on
He
top
was-
of the ground. I was
Here,
digging up.
show his nest.
No, this is. I didn't make
He was
this
just,
nest.
he was just like laying there.
I was digging
Right.
up the garden, and there he was. And I've seen them
That might
before.
be his tail.
Very rare.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know, but I don't want one of those to crawl inside of me, that's for sure.
I know,
It's
man.
an earwick.
Oh, that thing is freaky.
I know, and he can go all around.
Alright, I'm scared. I'm going in.
This is what crawls
Where he
inside their
was.
heads on Star Trek
Yeah.
with the Wrath of Khan.
Look, here's his. He can do like a complete turnaround. What's going on? What's going on?
I'm out of here. Alright, freaks, it's Wednesday morning at 12 after 8. I still have Annabelle to drop off. And by the time you're watching this video, hopefully all the other drama will be gone. Could still be going. You never know. But for those of you that have been on Facebook and stuff like that, you've seen some of the craziness that's going around. Last night I had to deal with a little bit of it before I went to bed, but obviously, you can tell I got better things to do, So I could have stayed up like I have been and talking to everybody and doing all this, but I've totally backed off. See, she's getting sick from the weather changes, and I just read them their stories and stuff at night and chill out and crash out with them. So I wake up at 2:30 in the morning, around there, and I see that I have a million messages on my phone, and they're from all different sources. So I click on a couple of the text messages, and then click on some of the Facebook stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. So apparently, some people went super trolling, and I thought they were kind of just after me at first, but now I see that they hit pretty much. I think it's pretty much anybody who's ever made a lawn care video on YouTube. I don't know. A lot of the people are connected through Lawn Pros on Facebook, so I'm not sure what the deal is, but everybody's all up in arms. I missed the video. There was a video on YouTube apparently, but everybody had it taken down. That was pretty bad with photoshopping and all kinds of like call-outs of people. I don't even know who the dude was that was calling them out, but it's just weird. It's just weird. See, it bothers me sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. Now, when I say it bothers me, it's like, oh man, you know, what the heck, you know? You think about it for a second. What's going on here? And then next thing you know, I'm caught up in my life again, and so it doesn't really affect me that much because I'm a pretty busy dude. So hopefully it stays squashed, and I think that everybody was trying to, whoever was trying to get everybody to fight amongst themselves, because they would create different usernames, and they were on my channel. They create a username that sounds like another channel and come over and troll you, and then go over to theirs and troll with one that sounds like your channel, and then started circulating pictures and crap around the internet. They got their big kick out of the deal, but I think it's pretty much like harmless. What can they do other than just piss you off, you know, for a little bit? And now it's like, well, everybody got hit, so you know, it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. It's stupid. I put one of the pictures up on my Facebook. I don't have all the other ones. Apparently, there were more in this video that was online, and whoever got it taken down, you know, props to them, because from what I hear, you know, it was pretty ignorant, you know. So, all right, that's it. I'm gonna cut some grass, kick some ass, and make some cash, hopefully. Now, I'm gonna be hustling today. I'm gonna be on the hump. All right. This is Wednesday, and I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm still without the snapper, so I'm going to. It might be short and sweet on some of these little clips. I got a lot of stuff to do. Talk to you in the future. All right, freaks. You've seen this house. It's my Wednesday. You want to see how to cut grass? I'll show you how to cut grass. Right through there. I'll show you how to cut grass. And it's not with a push mower like I'm doing right now. Watch out for the spider webs. This is how you cut grass. Looks like he's went all the way down here. They turned it off now. Bummer. Well, he'll be back on in a minute. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Hey, look at this. So there you go. Cut that with the 32 Bradley Antique. Now to think about it, I'm an antique. So 30 years to become an antique? Well, I'm more than an antique. Okay, here we go, last yard. Tall yard, all right? That's not good news for this thing. Let me tell you something about it. It's underpowered. The deck doesn't discharge the clippings that good. And it just doesn't discharge them that good. So this is gonna be a clobber fest. I'm probably not gonna double cut it. I don't know if I am or not. I'm getting better at mowing with it, but it's just not right. For one thing, the deck belt stretched out on me, and it once I engage it, it's tighter. Okay, thank God. But when you disengage it, it's still spinning around. Even if you do it real slow, it'll jump off. Okay, it'll jump off of the pulley up underneath there. So then I have to reach down and pull it around one of these little things to get it back on. What a hassle. So what can I say about this mower? Well, I can say the 90s called, they want their mower back. What you have right here, prime example of, but don't be mad, don't be all butthurt. This is a Hoosier ass white trash mowing machine. It's barely going to make it through the yard, but it's going through the yard. You know what they say? Well, at least I say it. You get what you get and don't throw a fit. You want it to look better? You better be a weekly long.
One thing that I quickly realized when I started using this belt drive again was that I was totally out of practice. So like once or twice a year I'd have it out for some various reason. And the big thing is the turns, because with the hydros I'm used to just going all the way in the corner and backing up and then turning. So now, since there isn't really a reverse, you're kind of making a swooping turn, leaving a lot of uncut area. So you're going to be doing more trimming. And the other thing is, with the reverse, I'm used to just squeezing down all the way. So it was kind of goofy, feeling right off the bat. And you'll notice that right here, I'm spraying the fence with the grass because I don't have a chute blocker. So I'm used to that too. You see, in the 90s, I was really good with belt drive mowers because that's all I had. I had a Skag 32. And it was beat up and used when I got it. Didn't last too long. The deck and everything was getting goofy. Like one of the casters in front was bent. And then I got a X-Mark belt drive 36. And man, I was like rolling then. I was a big deal. But then once I went hydro, I could make a lot better turns. Now look right here. That's your reverse. You pull the sucker back. And who wants to do that, right? So the pattern I'm using here is because I'm kind of just turning. I don't want to do too many just pivots and tear up the turf. I'm trying to make a swooping turn, and I can't make the 3-point one. So yeah, it's kind of funky, and there I am spraying the fence again. And another thing you'll notice is that this mower is I'm too tall for it. It's an old school, short little 32-inch. And when you stand on the Velke on the back, and someone my height, oh man, you're like hunched over. So you couldn't do this all day. It was just something that I still had left around because, throughout my life, I run into deals. And being like a lawn guy, people offer you things, and, other people are like, hey, I'm selling some equipment at the end of the year. Do you want to buy anything? And you buy something like this for like $200 because it runs. And you're like, oh, that's too good a deal to pass up, right? And then of course, I'm glad I had it right here. But at the same time, I couldn't use it every day without having back pain, wrist pain, or whatever. I mean, I could, but I'm spoiled. And that's one thing that will happen when you get better equipment is you do get spoiled and you start to forget how to use the old equipment. but you're always happy when you do drag something out of the shed that you haven't touched in 2 or 3 years and it starts. First of all, that's a big bonus. But then when it helps you throughout the day, yeah, you're like appreciating this thing. So, you know, it has its setbacks. It's old school, but man, look how fast I was going. You know, I wasn't walking, I was riding behind it. And it's a wider cut, more horsepower for the tall lawn, and, you know, I say that's a win. So sometimes just keep this stuff around. You might not touch it for a long time, and then one day it saves your butt. And that's one of the things with the lawn guys. You're going to have a parts junkyard. And I always say keep buying the same thing over and over. Stash your old one, because someday you can go back to your shed and pull off a throttle cable, a wheel, whatever, something like, you know, a starter, and it saves your butt there too.
And there you go. Not a stripe in it. How do you like that, huh? Hey, I was just trying not to take out the fence. I did spray it a couple good ones though. Check this out, freaks. I always have to show you bugs and spiders. Look at this spider. I don't want. Okay, let's touch it. There he goes. Got a little freaky geek. Whoa, he's looking at me. He might be a jumping spider. Anyway, the weather's great. You could cut all day long in weather like this. And the cool thing is, the yards are still growing, but they're not growing very thick, very fast, you know. Like I just did this one. You show up at them, and they're like just a normal yard, no problems. The trimming's not out of hand. The grass isn't super thick. You know, it's dewy in the morning, but that's just how it is. Now I know a lot of you guys that are just starting out are going to be finding yards that people they might not really care about their stuff that much, and so they're worried more about the price and stuff like that. So you're going to end up hearing things like, "Oh, I think it's done for the season," and you're looking down and it's like, you know, September 15th or something. And you're like, what? You know, or they say. The worst is you show up and they come out and go, "Oh, hey, it doesn't need it this week." Well, would you like to get dressed for work, lady, and go show up at your job and they say, "Hey, we don't need you today. You're not getting paid either," you know? No, that's not how it goes. But when you first start out, you're going to have a lot of that going on. People will test you and people will do that. They won't really know the whole thing. You're going to get a lot of first time, it's their first time having a lawn service, so they don't really understand that you're actually sort of like a business and depend on it. Now, over the years, I've weeded out those people. Every time I pick up, you know, 5 or 6 new yards, one of them is going to be kind of weird somewhere along the line, and they'll either fall in line or they won't, and you just have to replace them. But I tell my people that I go all the way through October, okay? And if they're a person that doesn't like having their yard kept up with all the way through, then I'm not the right guy for them. Now, back in the day, I wouldn't say that. I would just take them on, and people would drop, you know, later on in the year. They drop early, or they say, "Oh, I will call you when it needs it," and they'll call you like once in October or something. You know, I'd put up with that crap back in the day. But when you're trying to make it a business, you have to let them know up front, "I'm going to be here, and I'm going all the way through October, and I'd like to go through November, every other week," you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I don't want to tell you about pricing or anything, but the ones that want you to come through all the way until the freaking snow comes, you can give them a little bit cheaper price than these other yards, because they're going to be easier to do, man. Cutting these yards in September and October and all that, they're easy. They're easy to cut. And you're being rewarded. So say you're doing it for $5 less, but you're getting to go all, you know, 2 months longer than all these other yards. You tell me what was a better deal. You made a lot more money, and you made and it was easier on your body and your equipment. The monster yards and the tall ones and stuff that they want you here and there, and you're charged them appropriately, but they are just a hassle compared to breezing through 6-7 of these in a day. Then throw in a couple badass monsters. You can just cruise right along, taking care of weekly properties in the late season, and not get real worn out and stuff. So I don't know. You're gonna have growing pains, okay? When your business grows, you're gonna be bringing in people who aren't gonna pay you, people who drop you early, weirdos and all this stuff, but it will always just get better. You'll end up picking up more of the real good ones. But I say establish the fact that you're gonna be there all the way through, like Halloween or whatever, wherever you're at in the world. You know your own seasons, Think about it. Okay, freaks. I just did this yard. I've only used this on one yard so far, and last time I did it, the belt jumped off the pulley up under there when I disengaged the blade and got all that slack, and I even disengaged it slow. It's not a hard fix. I just have to reach under there and put it back on there on the pulley. But since it's this yard, I didn't even bother using it on the back, because I always do the front with the small mower, and I just was in the zone. I was letting my radio play what it wanted. I had it set on 80s, and it was all like 80s new wave. So, well, hold on, let me take a good pick here. Take a still pick, we can compare. Alright, as usually I cut this with a big mower, so when I come back and cut it with a big mower next time, you can compare, see which one looks better. But yeah, I just came right around the house and just kind of did my thing, real peaceful, didn't even sweat it. I mean, it helped that the songs had me in a mood. I was just kind of cruising along, and when I got to the backyard, they started playing Depeche Mode, Enjoy the Silence, and then it went straight into In Excess Stairs, and then it played The Reflex by Duran Duran, which was bringing me back up. So that's kind of how it happens with me. Sometimes I just let the music take me and guide me through it. It's no big deal. I'll push mow some yards. I'm gonna go do another one right now. I think I'm gonna be using the green mower. Okay, freaks. Well, first of all, this is the yard that didn't pay me, and then I had to cut it when it was 2.5 foot tall. And I am going to go for it, and I'm going to use the green machine. So you can see here, that's the belt came off from around that pulley under there, but I can wrap it back around there and get this done. Now look, don't worry about how I'm cutting this yard. Stripes, 45 degrees, nice pattern. Man, this thing's gonna be zigzag, crisscrossed, upside down and sideways, all right? Shit's gonna fly everywhere. I don't give a damn. This is ugly yard number 3 now. It's been renamed. It's still gonna look better than it does right now. It's gonna look pretty good. But there's not gonna be no pattern or rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. Stuff's gonna fly. All right. I'm gonna push mow this whole yard. Nothing on my mower yet. And I really don't want to use the green one on this. It just doesn't do a high quality job. It does save me a few steps, but it kills my lower back. I look like freaking Quasimodo on that thing. But I've push mowed this yard before, so it's no big deal. It actually looks really good when it's, you know, done with a small mower. I think today's going to be sort of a normal day, but I'm not going to get everything done this week, so tomorrow, Saturday, I'll have to finish up with the kids, go out and do at least 3 yards, and that's just how it's going to be. But I think I'm going to pull this off. Okay, freaks, I'm back here. That's right. And you know what? I need to trim these things for it, but these Rose of Sharons, I think they're what's giving me all this rash that I got all over me. So I'm kind of staying away from that crap right now. That must be doing its thing with some bad oils in it or something. Poison season. So I push mowed this last week, and now I got to do it again this week. Doesn't it seem fast? Like I was just here? Like sometimes I get to a yard and I'm like, I have to look at my schedule or think, is this really Friday or Thursday? Because it seems like I just did this a few days ago. That's the scenario right now. I'm like, didn't I just do this? You sure it's been a week? But other times I see a yard and I'm on it and I'm like, man, it feels like I haven't been here in a month or something. So you just never know about that stuff. But right now, what's really on my mind is I have to push mow this yard again? I still don't have my mower back for an idler pulley and the bolt and the piece that holds it on? One from a Skag or a Wright, or none of this stuff fits it? And nobody has one? Does this make sense?
What you're looking at here is one of my favorite lawns. Heck, it's the first ever lawn that I filmed from start to finish and made that video back in the spring of 2013. And why did I choose this one? Well, a few reasons. One, I enjoy working in the yard. I also felt comfortable here, and I think it's a pretty nice lawn. It had a nice sampling of everything. A big open front yard with some sun. Around back you had some shade and a variety of plants, bushes, shrubs, flowers, miniature little trees. It had it all, so that's why I chose it. I also felt comfortable filming here because I built up a friendship with these people over the years. Actually, I started working for other family members and then their neighbors too. So it just spread, and you do build up friendships with certain people that are open and nice. And in this business, you're going to run into a ton of different personality types. So some people aren't really the ones that you're going to develop those relationships with. And heck, some people you may never even know. Like you wouldn't recognize each other if you ran into each other in line at a store, even though you've been doing their yard for 10 or 15 years. They're the ones that called you or signed up through the internet for your service, so you never really even seen each other's faces. And every time you go to take care of their property, they're not even there. So you don't even know what vehicle they drive. They don't know what your truck looks like. And then maybe 8 years down the line, they're home on vacation for some reason, and there you are, and you meet each other or wave, and you're like, wow, I finally know what you look like, or wow, I know you, I've seen you before somewhere else. And it all makes sense. Or you just keep on moving and you might not see him for another 10 years. Having a bunch of clients like that is really beneficial to a business because things go a lot smoother. They never call, complain, have weird requests. You show up, cut the grass, and you get a check the first of every month. It works out too easy. But I do like to have at least one person per day that comes out and we chit-chat a little bit. But if you have 5, well, that can cost you to miss a whole yard.
Looking good, looking good. I'm starting to get into using my push mower on these yards. that I haven't used on in a long time because they look so much different. I think I'm going to start working on those crazy double pattern, double stripes and stuff I see. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, definitely, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, freaks, we're leaving that yard. It looked good, but I didn't show you the finished product of the one I butchered with the green machine last night because I actually got a headache when I was cutting the backyard. And I didn't even show you the backyard either. It wasn't that bad though, because you know, I butchered it up and knocked all that tall grass down and it kind of just killed it in spots because it was too much to handle. But here's the after, the morning after of the green machine attack. Well, there you go. Hey, just be glad you're not cutting the ditch with a push mower or a trimmer. Now, all my yards are just right around the corner from each other. Where are you going? You going to another yard? Oh yeah, it's just right around the corner. 10 blocks around the corner. Maybe I'll take you on a tour. You want to go through the steel mill sometime? When I was a kid, you could walk through it. You could walk right in the damn steel mill and right through it and out the other side. It's crazy. Man, times have changed. You really could do that. We climbed the water tower before. We used to hop on the trains up here behind Kmart and head them on down. Where the dump is now, where I take my stuff. Get on them down there because it's park. I got all kinds of stories I can tell you about that, but I don't know what the statute of limitations on certain things are, so I better not tell you too many of those stories. Here's a nice neighborhood for you, huh? You know, I've always liked circle driveways like that. I don't know why, I just like them. Alright, well I don't think I'm going to show you this next house. I never have, and I never will. Okay. I know I've filmed this place before, but I don't know if it made it in the video. I usually don't film here, but she's not home. But look what happened in 1 week. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice is, look at all these leaves, man. There's crazy stuff. Acorns and little twigs. Leaves all over. But she had her water line dug up. And man, they must have drove a little mini excavator, a little backhoe in here. So this is all jacked up, but look what they did to the tree. That ain't good. That ain't good. But it wasn't good anyway. Look at that. Got it split. See all the sap in there? So the ivy's all jacked up. It's no longer evened out. It's all tore into here. But yeah, it's getting that time of season. It's getting dry. Look at all of this. And this isn't anything, dude. Wait till I come back to this yard. You know, next month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trees right here. 10 trees that are gonna drop leaves. Plus them things up there. Oh, you're gonna see some stuff. Oh yeah, you'll be seeing some stuff. I'm not gonna finish this yard today. I need to get my dust mask. You could kill yourself if you mulch all this crap without a dust mask on. I'll film this for you. Somewhere along the line, I will film a cleanup here.
Click the card above if you want to see my first ever lawn care video. I re-uploaded it. It's right there.